Hello, I'm Michael Boyajian, and I'm going to be talking about my new book that just got released today, The CATACLYSMIC KHACHKARS of LGBTQ Armenia. And before I go into how the book got started and what it's about, let me explain what a KHACHKAR is. It is a funerary stone similar to a headstone, except it is rectangular in shape and vertical, and they go back hundreds of years, and they're beautiful works of art. And a cemetery that an Armenian cemetery that now is in Azerbaijan was named by UNESCO a World Heritage Site because of the beauty and historical and cultural significance of these KHACHKARS. And the Met recently had a show on Armenia that featured a few of them. And that's important because let me tell you why. In the middle of the night, sometime before that Met show, the Azerbaijan army, and again, I don't want to stir up trouble here, but this has to be told. The Azerbaijan army, in the middle of the night, went in with hammers. Things. That's something we use as a tool, and manually hammered every KHACHKAR in the cemetery into tiny little bits. Then they shoveled up all the tiny little rubble, threw them into dump trucks, and drove them off in the middle of the night and dumped them in some unknown secret place. Almost like what the Navy SEALs did with bin Laden, the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks. But so they're gone. They're completely gone, but for a few that survive in churches and museums. And again, we were fortunate enough, my late wife Jerry and I, to see the Armenian show at the Met that featured quite a few of the KHACHKARs, and with one right at the front entrance there, which is the cover of the book, where we superimpose the editor Sal Khalise of the book superimposed the pride flag or rainbow over the top of the KHACHKAR display. But in any event, so that's the story. That's what a KHACHKAR is. And they were destroyed. And what happens then is that I'm making a visit to the Poughkeepsie Library bookstore, the first time in many years, and or a long time rather, and I get an armful of books in my aisle I usually frequent, which is the ancient history aisle. And as I'm leaving, I noticed, even though I have a dozen books in my arms, there's one little paperback there on gay Greece, ancient Greece. And I said, it looks kind of dated and kind of weather-beaten. Anyhow, on the drive home, I said, I should have grabbed that, but if I go back, it's not going to be there. You know how that is. If you see something in the store and you go back, it's gone. But anyhow, I ordered it at home and immediately connected the idea of doing a book on the LGBTQ scene in Armenia. So I jump right into the State Department, and I see that Armenia has, I wouldn't say as bad as, say, Russia or China type alerts from the U.S. State Department as to LGBTQ travelers, which in those two countries is stay away, don't come near here, don't fly over here, just stay away, which is true. And which is odd that Russia is such a homophobic country, considering that their greatest composer, Tchaikovsky, was a gay man. And unfortunately, he was an early victim of this pseudoscience theory of gay conversion, which is where they believe they can take you and turn you back, or not back, but turn you into a straight person if you're a gay person or LGBTQ. And they forced him to marry a woman, and he committed suicide. So there's so much for that theory. And again, and that was Russia's greatest composer, if not the world's. He's my favorite personally, but because of the string orchestration. But anyhow, so I see that yes, Armenia has a less than stellar LGBTQ record for travelers, and borderline homophobe. And I, studying the data, I see what the problem is. It's only 9. I thought it was 5%, but it's actually 9% of Armenians living in Armenia, the 3 million Armenians living there, not the diaspora, which is a totally different statistic. The ones living in Armenia, only 9% know an LGBTQ person. So there it is. Because so many are in the closet, people don't know them. So fear governs, fear of the unknown. Whereas in the United States and the West and in Europe, somewhere along the line recently, en masse, the gay community came out of the closet, and it was the best thing that ever happened. Because people could now say, they couldn't say or not say, but they said to themselves, well, oh, my Uncle Joe is LGBTQ. He's a great guy. My aunt Julie is LGBTQ. She's a wonderful person. And so the fear was removed, and so many came out of the closet, a vast majority, if not 90%, that the Pride opinion polls in the United States had 80% approval. And within 20 years of the launch of the marriage equality movement, which I'd been in for the last 10 years. My colleagues at Marriage Equality New York were in for 20. It became law of the land. First, in Canada, they legalized it, and then Massachusetts had a court trial that legalized it. We tried the court trial in New York, didn't work, and we did get it passed through the legislature on the second try by reaching out to people across the aisle, and we got enough votes across the aisle that pushed us over the top legislatively. Then everyone knows that the Supreme Court ruled on the matter, and the legal team that led that effort was the top Republican attorney, Ted Olson, from, as you would probably remember, Gore v. Bush. So anyhow, everyone assumed, okay, 80% approval ratings, no problem here, but we are having problems. Had mass shootings at the Pulse and Club Q, and hate crimes are rising. But anyhow, getting back to Armenia, right there I see the roadmap to get the country up to higher levels of polling for LGBT relations, and that is to get more out of the closet. So I connect with the top pride group in Armenia, Pink Armenia, with a fellow named Leo. And yes, they are trying to get people out of the closet. And they can't use that terminology because it doesn't translate well into Armenia. It comes out as coming clean, which has like a criminal connotation to it. So they use some other terminology, which I wasn't quite clear about, but it means the same thing as getting people to come out publicly as gay. And they're working very hard on it, very devoted. And, he told me, in his far off dreams, way on the way back burner, after everything's finished up with them turning things around for the LGBT community, Leo might want to come to the United States. And I hooked him up with a marriage equality group that my friend Michael Sabatino from Marriage Equality New York hooked me up with, called Immigration Equality. And they don't just focus on Armenians. Any LGBTQ group that needs immigration help, they're out to help. In fact, they provided me with a video of an Egyptian LGBTQ person that they were able to get out of Egypt and into the United States as a refugee. Very big success story. And, I sent them their link. I said, okay, I know you're not moving anytime soon to the United States, but when you're ready to go, here's this contact. And I also said, if you know anyone now who wants to look into immigration, here's the contact person to look up, which is Immigration Equality. So anyhow, that's the story. We basically turned around. When the connection with the KHACHKARS is that the hate driven by the Azerbaijanis for the Armenians resulted in their destroying the KHACHKARS, which is a point in the checklist of genocide, which is to destroy cultural artifacts. It's not just mass murder for genocide, a classification. There's a checklist, and I know this because my Uncle Gary is a Holocaust scholar, a genocide scholar, and was on the New Jersey Commission on the Holocaust under 4 different New Jersey governors. And he just released a book called The Kaleidoscope of Armenian Immigration to America, a opus on the topic. If you really want to read it, it's amazing what we had to go through to get in here ourselves. And you can understand why other people today are trying to get in here and have to do, be flexible on all issues. I won't go into details on that. But anyhow, getting back to the KHACHKARS, because hate resulted in the destruction of them, I turned it around to say, okay, as an allegory, let's say the LGBT community in Armenia is a allegory for the KHACHKARS. The KHACHKARS are an allegory for the LGBT community, and the Armenian people themselves, 90% don't know an LGBTQ person, and 90+% are against, marriage equality and things like that. They're KHACHKARS, and the Armenian people are allegorically. I don't want to say there's hate. There's just a lack of information because so many are still in the closet and have to get out. And Pink Armenia is doing a job. It's a big job. They are headquartered in the capital, Yerevan, and they've just they're opening offices in 2 other major cities, and then they're spreading out into the countryside, the more rural areas where they say there's a real problem. But again, like I said, they are rolling up their sleeves and they're at work, Pink Armenia. And in any event, that's basically the story. I know I'm leaving something out, but what are you going to do? Hope you enjoyed the book. And again, is the Cataclysmic KHACHKARS of LGBTQ Armenia. And have a nice day.